Café Anyway. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Café Anyway.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's what this is? Oh, right. Well, welcome. It's episode 2776.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
2776. And Mike Matthews has been 86th from the YouTube channel, but that's not the easy problem to fix because you have to appeal, and if you don't appeal, it doesn't matter because it's the same as appealing, because either way, they reach a decision on your appeal and they always reach the decision
Mike's Daily Podcast
against you. So there's really no point in even trying, but there you go.
Mike's
All right.
Daily
It was
Podcast.
something
Yeah!
that I did where I was basically pulling in to YouTube another channel that features Mike's Daily Podcast. And thusly, when it got all of the other podcasts, it then converts. So this is something interesting if you have a podcast and you want to be on YouTube, but you don't video yourself, because let's say you don't have the technology, or what's that other thing? Oh yeah, you're not in love with yourself. You're not in love with the way you look. Ooh, I got to be videoed all the time. So that seems to be all the young people these days. I got to be on camera. And then when they do their podcast, they're on camera, they let all these little things go by that the listener doesn't understand. Like they'll talk about something about their shirt. Well, I can't see your shirt. You have to describe it. This is like old-timey radio back when the guy was watching the Hindenburg fall out of the sky. And he's saying, oh, the humanity. And he has to explain, oh, that's right, I had another YouTube video which isn't, it's a podcast, it's not really a video, but it was called Apparatus. That got blocked too.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Now, I had the time of my life. No, I never felt like this before. This podcast features me singing, and the podcast picture is a recent one. I think when I was in the town of Oakland on Saturday, because my lovely lady friend couldn't find her driver's license, so I had to drive her to work in Oakland, and then I waited around while she did her thing, and I went to the rose garden they have there. It's very nice. See that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. I'm going to pay something like $400 to keep my website. The late great Basil the Boxer, he actually went to this rose garden, sort of. So please enjoy the website since I pay for it. I would appreciate it. Okay. So what I'm talking about here is some interesting things that California residents source 27.8% of electricity from solar power. Californians are number one in the nation for using solar power. And apparently they have saved over $1,509. I personally do not want to do that yet. And I have a house that doesn't really face the sun in such a way. And after my interesting experience that I have had with AT&T, I don't know if I want to do that. Oh, sure, we'll install it. You won't even notice it. It's like me getting the fiber optic cable stuff installed. Fiber. I'm trying to get fiber. I'm trying to get some fiber in my diet. Actually, I'm going to use fiber optics to upload the podcast, to watch videos, and it's going to cost me nothing. I'm getting a wonderful deal for it. AT&T said, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. We want you to get onto fiber optics. You're going to be one of the first to get it in Podcastro Valley. That's awesome. Oh, we got to put a hole through your wall. What? Yeah, that wall right there. We got to drill a hole in it. Well, the young man
Amusement Park.
The front panel will close automatically. Please remain seated at all times.
It's ups and downs is what I'm saying. It is a math amusement park. The young man, he seems to be like skilled. He seems to be competent. But then he drills into the wall and says, there's concrete in here. I can't go through it. Well, don't you have some kind of tool, some kind of device that can tell you that you have that there's concrete in there that's going to stop it? And then he said, so I'm like, are you gonna just leave the hole there? No. I'm gonna plug it up. I'm gonna put in a damage report. Okay, is this gonna cost me extra? Because this isn't supposed to cost me anything. No, it won't cost you anything. Okay, so he comes in with some of the silicone stuff, and he puts it in the hole. And it does kind of match the wall. I don't know if he intended to do that or not. Yeah, it looks nice. And I go, what's that? And I point down to the surface there. There's like a little bit of a counter space there. And there's dust all over it. There's stuff from the wall that he's drilled the hole into. I would show you the video of this, but, this is what we call a podcast where we don't have video. If it was a video thing, we'd call it a video show. We'd go to the videotape. But he goes, this is just some dust that came from that. And I'm nice. And
The Daily Haley. The almost Daily Haley.
I heard Nikki Haley won DC, but I'm not hearing that anywhere in the news. I just heard that on this podcast that's awful called the 538 podcast. I don't know why I listened to it. I think because this guy Nate Silver was the dude that was able to find out he could predict elections before he didn't do it. He did such a terrible job. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast. Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth here in Ameritopica. Yes, he was doing a great job, and all of a sudden 2016 happens, and he did not see Trump winning. And oops, egg all over his face. Anyway. Café Anyway. But he's got this podcast. He doesn't actually talk on it, but he's got all these youngins on there. They can't even be millennials. But they are like talking like this one guy sounds like he's got a corn on the cob stuck in his throat. And they're, oh my God, so look at this cup I'm drinking out of. And I don't think the Supreme Court, I don't think that they're doing anything that they're being smart. So the Supreme Court unanimously voted that Trump has to stay on the ballot. It's not so much
Mike's out of left field recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated.
I'm just saying this is out of left field, but all the experts that I hear say, all of the justices said, yes, Colorado can't do this because the state cannot just up and say so-and-so can't be on the ballot. Now, I know what Trump did was ridiculous that day on January 6th, but he still has not been formally prosecuted. He still has not gotten the handcuffs put on him.
Hey, kids.
And
it's me.
So it's basically they're thinking, since it's not official, it's just a state saying, oh, it looks like he was an insurrectionist. Well, okay, let's just take him off the ballot. It didn't seem strong enough to take him off the ballot. That's what they're saying. But so 538 is the name of this podcast, not this one that you're listening to.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
I'm Mike Matthews. This is Mike's Daily Podcast. But the podcast I was listening to was saying that Nikki Haley won DC. I'm not going to look it up right now because I can't reach the keyboards, and that makes me someone very tiny. No, it makes me, I can't type very well at the moment.
Do re me the clown.
I don't want to type is what it is. But here's the interesting thing.
Magnification.
California's colossal $97 billion investment in solar underscores its leading role in the solar energy revolution in California, Nevada, and Massachusetts. They top the list. Those are the three. California, Nevada, and Massachusetts top the list of 50 states.
The Cutting Corners Corner.
The Cutting Corners Corner!
The Fascinating Material Project.
FM Project.
A fine article.
You silly, great, fat article.
Magnification.
Ginormous.
Magnification.
At any rate, we do have a lot of solar going on here. Now, will it make your meter go backwards and that you start getting money? This is the one issue that I hear about solar power, and that is you've got to have really good batteries to be able to kick in when there's no sun. Something like that. And those batteries cost a lot of money. So I don't know if I'm not into the whole idea, the whole concept of doing the solar power, but on the ballot, and I threw out all the political ads that I had. Some guy named Tim something running for, I think he's running for Senate. Is it Tim? Not Tim Scott. California. Let's see. It's Steve Garvey, of course. No, I'm thinking Adam Schiff. Oh, here we go. 538 doing their prediction of who's going to win.
The Marco Minute.
Oh, it looks like they have Schiff ahead. All right, there's your Marco Minute. I used to work with a guy named Marco, and let's just say he got into trouble doing something that you're not supposed to do on the radio. And I shall leave it at that. But he did used to do the overnight shift. Well, the early morning shift. But he'd be at the station at 5 in.the.morning after having worked at Amazon all night. So I'd never known anyone to do that. But what he was doing at the radio station was mostly sleeping. So I guess that's how he was able to do it. But hey, do you read books? There's a place called Bookshop Benita. And somehow I got on their mailing list. And they just now told me that March is Women's History Month. And Bookshop Benita's got recommended reads. One of them is from the cat that lives at the bookstore. Yes.
The Word of Dog.
No. Thank you, Basil. No. I know you would love to chase after Felix, the cat. That's the name of the cat that's at the bookstore. And it says here, Felix is currently reading Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi. This is a groundbreaking fantasy series for young adults that uses African culture and mythology to inspire the plot and characters. Felix can't wait to read the rest of the series. Meow, says Felix. Oh, thank you. I need to get back up to Benicia soon, because I miss it. Oh, look who's here. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? I brought my horse Dilly. It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what. What? Last podcast, y'all were talking about all that stuff regarding the ZZ Top and whatnot. ZZ Top, that's right, yes. So ZZ Top had a bunch of music videos in the 80s. They all pretty much did the same thing. Showed the same, like a guy that's kind of confused and bewildered as women in high heels would walk around him and kind of, I guess, abduct him and take them into their car and drive off. Yes, that's basically every single ZZ Top video. There were some other weirds. I watched this one called TV Dinners that made no sense. The guy's trying to eat something. It looks like he's cooking something with foil, like the old TV dinner type things that were in foil. Looked like he was trying to cook it in a microwave, which microwaves were starting to get really prevalent in the 80s. Well, you wouldn't want to do that because you would start all these sparks and everything. And a monster comes out, and it's stop motion photography, so it has that look like Rudolph. And yes, go down that rabbit hole sometime of ZZ Top videos. It is an interesting experience, I must say. Okay, look
we love you, Mike.
Thank you. Drinking is fun, and to help us with that, it's the Brewmaster.
Oh, Mike, I make delicious root beer. Have some right now. Oh, boy. Drink right now, okay?
All right, here we go. Some delicious root beer. It looks like... Oh, that's actually lemonade.
No, it's root beer.
Well, no, it tastes like lemonade.
But it's root beer.
Well, we can agree to disagree. And that's pretty much the podcast today. I hope you got out and voted. If this is the time of year for you to vote. Looks like Adam Schiff is ahead with the 538. Peoples, you know, whatever. They I guess most of the time they predict elections well, but they certainly messed up big time.
You will travel into the incredible universe.
That's right. Sometimes you need to just travel into the incredible universe and see what happens by listening to Mike's Daily Podcast. Oh, if you would like to call me and tell me what you think about anything we covered today, Woo! You can do so at this number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Such a ridiculous voice. And with more ways to reach me, it is A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!